Some stories are written down, and others are carved in stone. But the legacy we're diving into today, it's woven from fire and the sea. It's the story of a matriarch named Caqqhavinnaksaela and what she truly left behind.
And really, the key to her whole story, her enduring impact, it all comes down to these 4 simple words. They were spoken by her husband long after she was gone. You're her mere flame. I mean, what a phrase. It just holds so much weight. So what on earth does it mean to be someone's mere flame?
Well, to figure that out, we're actually going to start at the end. We're going to look at the living, breathing reflection of Caqqhavinnaksaela's spirit, her family. So I want you to picture this. An old man, the patriarch Jarru, and he's just watching his grandson, Atiawendro. And as he looks at this young man, he's seeing so much more than just the future. He sees this powerful, undeniable echo of the past, a living memory of the woman he loved.
And get this, the inheritance he sees is so incredibly specific. We're not talking about a vague resemblance here. No, it's the spiky hair, described as being like sea crystals. It's the exact same slate-toned eyes. It's a presence he calls storm-born, and that unmistakable spark, that island flame. Atiawendro is basically a living blueprint of his grandmother. All of this powerful legacy, it just makes you wonder, right? Who was this woman? To really understand the reflection, we've got to go look at the source. So, let's go back to her beginnings as a daughter of the islands.
Her entire essence, who she was at her core, is captured right there in her name. Caqqhavinna means a radiant, enduring flame, while Xaela means of the sea and sky. So right from birth, she was defined by this incredible duality, fire and water, intensity and total balance. And her appearance, just as elemental as her name, the descriptions we have are just fantastic. Picture this striking contrast: short, spiky, windswept hair, but then also 2 long braids tied with seashell ribbons. And her eyes? Luminous slate blue like storm seas at dusk. They literally said that when she walked into a room, it felt like the sea itself entered with her. She came from what was known as a tied braid family. And this is such a fascinating look into her culture, because for them, family wasn't just about blood. It was about a collective strength. She was one of 6 siblings, and each one was believed to embody a different part of the sea's power, things like healing, storytelling, or craft.
You can just see how her whole world was steeped in deep tradition. Her father was a pearl diver and a merchant. Her mother was a moon festival singer. Her siblings, a midwife, a storyteller. She literally grew up surrounded by song and the constant rhythms of the ocean. But, as you can probably guess, the tide of her life was absolutely destined to meet a storm. And this next chapter is all about that one pivotal moment when her entire world changed forever. Okay, so let's set the scene. It's a moon festival in her home city, which is just bustling and vibrant. The air's filled with music, lantern light is everywhere, and through this crowd walks Caqqhavinnaksaela, a young traveler with a bit of a storm boy swagger who is about to have his world turned completely upside down. He walks right up to her with this line. It's bold, it's a little bit teasing. He sees that fire in her right away, calling her Island Flame, and he immediately points out the power in her laughter. It's confident, maybe a little arrogant, and it's definitely a challenge. But she meets his storm with the full force of her tide. Her reply is just as sharp, just as playful, and it puts him right back in his place. She is not intimidated one bit, she's intrigued. And just like that, their whole dynamic is set in a single instant. Now he could have fired back with more swagger, right? But instead, his storm kind of breaks. He doesn't answer with more bravado. He answers with poetry, with this sense of destiny. I am the one your laughter was meant to find. And with that one line, that was it. Their connection was sealed. And that's exactly who they became. He was the storm, she was the tide. His coastal swagger was met with her islander wit. And the thing is, they didn't diminish each other, they actually completed each other. He tempered his storm because of her, and her spirit was sharpened by his. They even had nicknames. He called her Tide Flame, and she called him Storm Smoke. Perfect. And so, this daughter of the islands left her home. She joined the coastal Caqqhavinnaksaela clan, where she would become its powerful matriarch, forever known as Xaela of the Twin Braids. And this incredible blend of fire and water, it just flowed right into their children. You can actually see how their different traits were passed down.
Caqqhavinna had a rimmer thread softness, but that flame wit. Caqqhavinnaksaela got all of his father's storm charisma. Mivinwalisha had her mother's quiet, enduring flame. And Caqqhavinnasha was a peace-bearer, but with a hidden inner fire. Every single child was a unique mix of the tide and the storm.
As a matriarch, she was an absolute force. She never once forgot her islander roots, and she wore them with pride. She was fiercely protective, but her shield wasn't anger. It was usually humor and a wit so sharp it could cut down any arrogance in the room. Her voice, it was described as both a lullaby and a storm call, nurturing one moment, commanding the next.
Which brings us right back to where we started, her legacy. A legacy so powerful that it didn't just fade away with time. Instead, it was reborn, again and again in the next generation.
So what exactly was this inheritance? What was passed down? Well, it was her slate blue gaze that people said could see through lies. It was that sharp-tongued wit, her vibrant, infectious island laughter, that fierce, protective love for her family. And of course, physically, it was what her husband called the untamed storm on her crown, that iconic spiky hair.
And so, here we are, full circle. That mirror flame isn't just some poetic throwaway phrase. It's this incredible idea that a person's essence, their spirit, their fire, their tide, can be so strong that it doesn't just live on in stories. It becomes a living, breathing part of everyone who comes after them. In the story of Caqqhavinnaksaela, the answer seems to be a love that perfectly balanced a storm and a tide, and a spirit so elemental it could never really fade. And it kind of leaves us with one final thought to ponder for ourselves. How does any legacy become more than just a memory?